Right, type of knowledges. And this one is about demonization of the naturals, and how the system and the Royal Masonic Society and the sort of hierarchy in this that forms the system demonizes naturals. See, and all this years and nobody knew. See, nobody knew about the way the system operated. So, and this was the aim behind all the psyops, like all the news stuff and that, which everybody assumed was real and that, see, but was actually just hexing, you know, hexing acted out by you know, tea drinkers, totally fraudulent and all that. And this is what it was all about, you see, was to demonize the actual nature of man, see. And we can forget about the human being ideas, because these human being ideas, see, is like the hued man, see. So you've got man, what they call man, right? And then you've got the human, and the human is above the man, because they're hued. See what I mean? To be hued is to be cut and polished type of thing, see? Yeah, like a diamond or stone or whatever, cut, polished, shaped, hued. See what I mean? Like Paul Hewson, which I think is Bruno's name, and you know, Paul Hewson. Another one, the house martins is called Hewson as well. You know what I mean? The idea of there's a few of them, a lot of them called Hewson. You know, the big name in it. Was a tennis player called Hewitt. See what I mean? Hewitt with the 2 T's in that for the tandems triumphans idea, which goes back, supposedly goes back to Jacobitism and all that. So right in the origins of it, see what I mean? And the cutter, the cuttings, the 2 T's, see what I mean? And yeah, so the wish, the whole purpose of it, right? What the hook, the hexen psyops, what they call news and that, see, was to demonize the nature of man, see, so to convince people that man is like this, you know, at heart, and that is essentially a murderer and a thief and a, you know, dishonest and everything like that, like a rapist, everything that you can think of. See what I mean? And this was the purpose behind all these psyops put on by this Royal Masonic Order, see. So you know, and obviously, you know, it was all perpetuated by perpetrated by tea drinkers, and that's why we're at the point we're at now in the civilization, as they call it. See what I mean? Where basically life's ground to a halt for sort of naturals and all that. You know what I mean? Hence all the sort of like revelation type stuff and all that. See what I mean? Because people are digging into that, digging in, taking a look about, see what's going on. See what I mean? So it's an interesting time in that, for sure. Like, you know what I mean? But it's all been hexing all the way. You know, to demonize the nature of man, see, natural man. And of course, natural man, you know, is probably better than the tea drinkers, to be honest. See what I mean? As far as being all these things and that. See what I mean? But there we have it. It worked, sort of thing. You know what I mean? The psyopery, the hexen, it worked. So we're at where we're at, type of thing. And we have to deal with it sort of from here. See what I mean? So pretty crazy, like. But that brings us to the subject of the milk, and you know, the milk, which is to do with, like, basically the word milk, and that translates into king. See, king or lord, right? So you have certain things like a yarmulke in the Jewish religion, what they put the hat on is like a yarmulke. And the origins of this, see, the mulka thing is like the king and lord, see. So we can't have like the whole idea of the idea of God and all that is tied intrinsically in with the idea of like a royal priesthood and that, see. Your kings and all this are supposedly ordained by God. See what I mean? So basically that casts a light on, you know, all the sort of biblical stuff and all that. Again, it's all part of the hexing, see? Being totally hexed, totally brainwashed. And I mean, even now you get the ones like, you know, the type of shells and all that who are trying to, you know, keep the old thing going and all that, infiltrating into the sort of, you know, our channels and that, and, you know, trying to you know, direct it into a different way and all, back to the old ways and all that. See what I mean? But no, not having it, like, because of all the sort of, you know, the religion. Think of the term itself, religion. You know, it's like it's got the royal idea within it. See what I mean? It's like a thing of reliance in there. See, like a reliance idea. See, like a reliance. And of course you go into like things like the legion of Roman soldiers and all this. So I'll, you know, tie in together. And I caught this movie on the TV, like, which was called Androcles and the Lion, right? And you know, like a great film, like if you like you know, decoding Masonic stuff and all that. What a classic, you know what I mean? And tell you, if you watch that film, like, you'll walk away and think, like, you know, you'll know for sure that the whole idea of Christianity and Roman empires and all this is pure hexing, like, for sure. 100% Masonic hexing and all that. You know, no doubt about it. You know what I mean? Try and catch that film Androcles and the Lion, 1953 it was made in that. And the lead bloke in that. It's about the story of Androcles and that, and he befriends a lion and all that. And obviously we know what the lion is and that, but and we know what the Andrew type idea is, you know what I mean? And the actor who plays him is called Alan Young. And Young again is an interesting name, like, because that's like all sevens, all the way, see? Young. Like all sevens and that. And some very sort of interesting Masonic speeches in it and all that, like, for sure, you know what I mean? But it basically things like that, see, which is what they put into the system to keep the, you know, obviously based on the original Bible book and all that, right? And they just added like things like that to it, to the mix sort of thing, and basically to create the system what there is now, really powerful in terms of hexing. See what I mean? Powerful hex. And I was looking at the Metropolis movie, right, which ties in with like the Murloc thing and all that, because the Murloc, and I suppose you can make the case that the Murloc is the same as Baphomet and all that, you know what I mean? It's like the representative of the sort of creepy state idea and all that, the powerful, you know, creepy state, you should be scared and all that, and the Roman stuff and all that, they call it the state and all that, you know what I mean? And the Metropolis thing, it has the sequence in where Murloc is like, basically like a factory or something, and these blokes have gone in, and I think they've gone in and been chucked in or whatever, you know what I mean, like the fear idea and the horror stuff and that, and the idea of the Metropolis, see. And this film was like 1930s or maybe even 20s, I'm not sure, but it was before the World War II hexing, right? So you had this idea of the Metropolis, yeah. So you've got your Met thing and that, which is like the Baphomet, see what I mean? And also like the metaphor, so it's metaphorical, see what I mean? And we know that, the system of metaphors idea and all that. That also brings us to media. Like media is like, you know, we all fell for it, but media is just basically ideas, see? Ideas with an M stuck on the front, you know. So you know what, you know what I mean? Or flip the M sideways and you know what that is and all, and the other way, so it's like, you know what I mean? 100% coded, like. But the Murloc and that, like the milk. So this got us thinking about the idea of like milk itself, right? Milk. You know, like if you think about it, right, this milk is it's a supposedly part of the staple diet, right? human beings and that, right? And like I say, you can make the separation between man and human, like, but it's supposedly in the staple, that way it is in the staple diet, you know what I mean? It's like an essential, so-called essential item in that. Milk and bread and stuff like that, see what I mean? And then the milk itself, right, is a very funny thing, because if you think about milk, right, the only things what have milk, or what digest milk and eat milk and that, is babies, right? Babies of like any species, right? One exception, of course, being a cat. Maybe another couple of things, and all the cat-related species or whatever, you know, but they suck milk and lick cream up and all, I see what I mean. But the other type of species is, right, it's milk is reserved for like being produced by the mother, right, and then given to the young baby, like the suckling it and all that. So it's like specifically only, you know, drunk and not ingested by babies of the species, see. But what they do with this milk is they take it from the cows and then, you know, make it into this, you know, massive industry and all that, with, you know, gallons and like millions of gallons of milk and I've drunk every day and all this, see what I mean? And this sort of brings us to the idea of the Babylon, right? The Babylon. And this is supposedly where Murloc, or the Canaanite god or whatever, right? And there's your Cain type ideas again, see what I mean? Cain and the nuns and that, the Canaanite, right? And where Murloc sort of was the king or whatever, see? It's a day, what do you call it as well there? But anyway, like Murloc's connected to a Babylon, right? So the idea of Babylon, right? So it's like baby. It's like a baby thing, right? So this sort of makes us think of like the infantilization type idea, you see what I mean? Like the infantilization of the people and all that. And this milk must play a factor in it, you see what I mean? Maybe it's like the milk, if taken by tea drinkers, has a slightly different effect as to when naturals take it, see what I mean? You can see that with like a lot of the different substances, what they have about and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like for example, fluoride toothpaste and all that, you see what I mean? You know, my personal guess at it would be that the fluoride doesn't affect the tea drinkers like in the same way as what it affects a natural, see what I mean? But yeah, that's a different subject. And yeah, so the milk plays a factor in like the infantilization, you know, like, because you always talk about milk, you talk about things made of it, like creamy puddings and all this type of stuff, you see what I mean? It's like babyish, it's infantile, you see what I mean? And the peoples are being dumbed down and infantilized and all this. And this just to me ties in with the Babylon idea, see? Where you've got the milk god, you know, giving out the babies and that. Obviously you can draw the comparison with the many-breasted goddess ideas and all that as well, like, you know what I mean? They produce loads of milk and that, but there seems to sort of link to that, you know what I mean? And remember like how the sort of history stuff which is written in is basically more like a future prediction, see, than an actual past, right? Which is like, you know, pretty obvious to see once you start looking into it and all that. Like I see things like that Andrew Cleese and the Lion movie and that is like, you know, once you view things like that, and now you're not going to go back to your Bible and start quoting scriptures, you know what I mean? But it seems to be like this Babylon seems to be very much to do with it, of course, like the idea of the Ur-N, see, the Ur-N, which we know is like 777, single 7 and then none, you know, and the sort of L is like, again, like, you know, an inverted 7 and that, but it's also like 3 in the coding, number 3 in the codings and that. So you know what I mean? Well, you know, everything you're going to look at that's connected to this is going to be 7 coded and that. You see what I mean? And again, like a lot of the shills try to overplay that idea and all that, make on like it isn't important and that. But I mean, you know, it's like the most important factor for deducing the truth of it and all that. Kind of be forgotten about. See what I mean? So